Okay, so we're now learning the truth. I wonder what that is. The truth? My only answer is silence. I shift my gaze to Rod, but he avoids my eyes. What's going on? Princess, it is very likely that this witch in the palace is looking for you. Oh yeah, because, okay. They just mentioned that there was a witch in the palace. We don't know who it is, maybe a spy, from another country, maybe, I don't know, or just evil. But apparently they're looking for Lucette in particular. Why? What? I cast a glamour on you a long time ago so that you could remain hidden from magical eyes. I did it to protect you, but this witch in question can see through the spell I've cast on you. It is my belief that they are actively looking for you. I close my eyes and massage the temples of my head as I feel a headache coming on. Wait, you said before that the witches want to see their curses unbroken, but this sounds as if they have another motive altogether. What reasons could they have for trailing me? The Tenebrarum has been without a bearer for a long time, ever since the end of the war. A new bearer, however, will soon arise, and the crystal is ready to support them. Some of the witches, the wicked ones, want to make sure that the Tenebrarum continues to spread darkness, even with his new bearer in charge. Okay, but what does that have to do with me? Delora crosses her arms, her expression grim. The title of the bearer is passed down from one descendant to the next. Princess, the last Tenebrarum bearer was the late Queen of Angel, your mother. Okay, yeah, my suspicions are kind of confirmed. I feel my blood go cold. So we were like, I assume anyway, maybe we are like part witch, at least. We're magical as well. And that's why they've cast this, curse on us, to make sure we don't turn super evil and everything. I think. Oh, let's see. What? As you are the queen's daughter, you are the next heir. Come your 18th birthday, you will inherit the title of Tenebrarum bearer. Okay, I assume we're 17 then. I didn't know that. Mother? A witch? A witch? Possible. How would you spout such lies? I narrow my eyes at them, searching for some hint that they're lying to me. Delora and Parfait never turn their sad eyes away from me. Rod glances at me briefly before turning away, looking uncomfortable. I can't believe my waifu is a witch. Dear, your mother and I used to work together to maintain balance, but then the witch hunt drove her mad and turned her heart to ice. Yeah, that's her name, I guess, Hildegar. But she never used any magic. I would have known that she was a witch. Well, it's possible that you did in the past, but then it seems she erased all your memories of her true identity. Laura was already able to ascertain that most of your memories of her had been snatched away. Idea needed you to remain obedient so that when you finally did inherit her role as the bearer, you would continue to do as she wanted. Room to be the new, evil witch bearer or whatever. My thoughts feel as if they are spinning endlessly on an axis. The real reason I cursed you was to see if you're truly capable of goodness, Princess. Okay. I mean, yeah, I kind of called it. Idira's influence clung to you even after her death, and we feared that you would continue her previous work. That Angel might once again fall into darkness if you were not able to help the dark emotions in your heart. I was wondering. Because if otherwise it would be just like a normal human princess, why would go through all this trouble to teach her a lesson? If not only because she would be the next Tenebrarum bearer or whatever. Really important position. So then you cursed me because you were terrified what I would do if I became the bearer as I was. My only answer is silence. Now I understand why the people hated me. It was because I am the mother's daughter. Yep. I cannot help but reach out to touch the pendants on my necklace as a feeling of dread washes over me. We know that there's goodness in you, Princess. We only wanted you to realize it by breaking your curse. Her face sighs, looking guilty. It was a selfish act on our part, I know. But we cannot risk another great war. If they believed that I would have plunged the world into war, maybe we should, get revenge on everyone who has, been cold towards us. Not like we, did anything to help, but, like... I turned to Rod, who has yet to speak since the conversation started. Did you know about all this? Everyone knows the story of the Tenebrim Witch and her daughter. Everyone knew, except us. Everyone except for me. I guess because we were so isolated, we didn't know. And I guess, I assumed the king would know, but the king didn't tell us? Didn't tell Lucette as well? Well, I glanced down at my hand, suddenly feeling numb. I'm a witch. Can I do some magic shit now? Like pew pew, fireball, lightning, bam! I'm a witch, and I will become the Tenebrim's next bearer. Just the thought of it makes me sick. But then again, you can shoot lightning on your fingers maybe, Can you do that? That'd be cool. I think back to my childhood. I can still recall the glares that everyone gave me when I was a child. They were scared of me because I was my mother's daughter. What about the king? Did he never love me because I was the daughter of a witch? But if that's the case, if my mother was so wicked, then why did the king marry her in the first place? They threatened to kill the woman that he loved and not marry her. She threatened to kill Ophelia. Okay. Ophelia? So the king had loved Ophelia from the very beginning. I clenched my hands in tight fists. After Mother died, he was able to reunite with his true love. But since then he has treated Emmeline and Rod better than he ever treated me, even though I am his daughter by blood. I want to feel angry by this revolution, but instead I feel a dreary emptiness inside of me. A heavy feeling begins to settle in my chest, suffocating my heart. He never really loved me. Lucette? Rod's voice snaps me out of my thoughts, and that's when I realized those stray tears made it down my cheek. I quickly wipe it away with my back of my hand, angry at myself for showing weakness in front of him. Well, you must be happy to see me like this. What? Your mother is made queen, and you and your sister became royals overnight. Like something out of a fairy tale, isn't it? You thought you had the perfect life until I came back into it. I never asked for this to happen. I just wanted to. I never asked for this. Shows off his cyborg arms. No. Rod suddenly moves his hand to Sebi's mouth, muffling whatever other words the plush was going to say for him. What is it you want to say, Rod? It's nothing. I can assure you, however, that the power that comes with the crown has always been irrelevant to my family and I. Stop assuming that everyone around you is after your title or your riches. Did your time with my sister not teach you anything? I'm about to angrily retort when I suddenly stop, my heart sinking. I've already recognized that Emmeline is more complex than I thought she was. She also told me that she never wanted to be princess. My mother wouldn't have married the king if my father was still here. Laura looks between the two of us and sighs. And here I thought your relationship had improved. Now it seems it's back to square one. I cross my arms and turn away, annoyed. Do you have anything else to add, Parfait? If not, I would like to return to the palace. Princess, stay vigilant and be careful about who you trust. Maybe we shouldn't trust you, Trust? How do you know who I might trust? What makes you even think I trust you? The anger that I was expecting earlier suddenly rises to the surface. Parfait and Delora could be feeding me lies, playing me like a fiddle, playing me like a damn fiddle. Playing me the way Delora did when she first cursed me. I don't expect you to believe what we've told you. Perhaps it was not yet the right time to reveal everything to you. Please, you need to be careful. I stand up and look at them, my arms now hanging limply at my sides. How am I meant to trust anyone when all of you have been lying to me this entire time? Lucette, if you don't believe us, then try asking the king who dear truly is. I never even thought about asking the king about Mother. Rod, you should watch your back too. It's possible that this witch in question could be plotting something against the royal family as well. They have been in the palace for a long time after all. He looks at me, then at Rod, her expression is somber. I won't be able to stay with you anymore. I had to pick up and leave a few days ago because I was certain he caught a trace of my magic. He probably already has. I understand. Anyway, Lucette is right to return to the palace now. Someone may notice your absence if you're gone much longer. You too should leave now. Let us know if you notice anything unusual. I will. We'll see you again soon, Princess. Remember, stay vigilant. Or vigilant? Vigilant? I say vigilant? Vigilant? Sometimes I've noticed, I look at the past recording. I think I read too fast. Sometimes I like to slow down because if I read too fast, then I just stumble over my words, and kind of like mumble a little. I want to be sure to like properly speak at a medium pace, so even slow down in general. I need to slow down because again, I stumble over my words if I talk too fast. Rod and I leave the Martian in silence. Here in the secret tunnels, we are suffocated under even more silence, but still, neither of us makes an effort to speak. I'm still stuck inside my own mind, sifting through my troubled thoughts. I cannot reconcile the fact that the wicked witch who led the witches during the war was my mother. I did not even realize how many people hated my mother until after she had passed, and they spoke about how cruel a queen she was. I wonder, did you copulate? Right? Was that the right word? Did you make baby? Did you make baby? Did mother make baby with king, against his own will to make Lucette? That's kind of, that's fucked up. But I guess also, it's not surprising, again, because of nobility. In real life, medieval nobility, a lot of marriages were not really out of love, right? They just did it because of political reasons, so I guess it makes sense. Even in a magical world, like an evil witch trying to marry into like power, it's not really surprising. I never understood why, since she was always been the perfect person in my eyes. Well, now we know she has like memory manipulation powers, it's probably affected your memories. Dolores did it as well. She had like memory manipulation powers, at least for like normal human beings that aren't affected by the curse, and that kind of sort of stuff. I wonder if we can do that. Is that our power? Our Tenebrarum bearers, can they do that? Can they just like change everyone's memories? Can we like mind control everyone? We could just do that. Screw this. Screw doing the fairy tale curse. Can't we just like become the evil like witch and take over the world? I'd imagine maybe that's an option. Well, let's see. I don't know if it is. I never connected my mother with the Tenebrarum bearer, but what Parfait and Dolora just told me makes sense. Was I living a lie all these years? A lie that my mother crafted so that I remained cold and bitter even after she passed away? And Dolora and Parfait say I am meant to inherit the power of the Tenebrarum from my mother. I don't want that burden. You were a princess, and you were next in line on the throne. You were fine with that. You don't want, the evil crystal magic power, I guess? I don't know. I guess again, if she did it legitimately, if she was a good person and became the Tenebrarum bearer, it would be like a burden, right? Because she would need to stay sane and not turn to evil her entire life, actually. So it is a tough choice. Or you could just give in to the dark side and murder everyone. That's a thing. Again. I almost bump into Rod's back when he suddenly stops walking. He turns around and looks at me with a serious expression. I cannot help but feel judged beneath the weight of that gaze. If you're gonna tell me that you wanted or never wanted me as your partner because my mother was a witch, then I wasn't gonna say that. What? I won't lie. The first time I saw you, I thought you were like your mother. You were cold, harsh, and selfish. I never wanted to have anything to do with you. That was why I was so against this partnership, but you've changed. Aurora's expression softens. You've taken my route, so we're totally maybe gonna become lovers. I don't know. As you and Em have grown closer, I've seen that you're not like your mother. She speaks fondly of you, and I can tell she really enjoys your company. That's why, even if I don't have plans to break my curse, I will still do what I can to help you break yours. It's the least I can do as your partner. I stare at Rod in shock. Well, this is the first time he's been so nice to me. It's the dere of the soon. Why are you staring at me like that? I'm only doing this because you're important to my sister, Baka. Rod turns away, his face beet red. Dicesuki, you're a liar. Rod reaches up to pinch Sebi's face. Ow! Compliment him or thank him? Either way, it's okay. I guess sincerely thank him. Well, thank you. Rod turns away, his cheeks dusted pink. It's no big deal. I'm only doing this because I see how dedicated you are to breaking your curse. Because I want to get my old life back. Now that they have told me about Mother, I want to prove that I'm nothing like her. It's so funny how we just turned 180 degrees, you know? First, we loved our mother, but now we don't. Just so easily changed because of that fact. But anyway, I still want to help you with your curse, Rod. Why do you refuse to break it? Rod stares down at his feet, expression melancholy. Because I cannot. Rod stops and shakes his head. He says nothing else. I do not probe him anymore, especially not after seeing the distant look on his face. We walk through the corridor and back to our rooms after we say our goodbyes. I wonder what Rod is going to say. I assume by breaking his curse, it probably causes problems to someone else. Probably his sister, you know? He really loves his sister, right? So, I'm assuming if he breaks his curse, it involves, either hurting someone or, just inconveniencing someone, I assume. Such as his sister. So, probably what happens. So that's why he doesn't want to break his curse. Mother, look! Eleanor got me this gift. Eleanor? Eleanor? She's my maid and my friend. I make friends with peasants, by the way. No, princesses don't make friends with their servants. Don't you know that? Gotta use your command seal and no. She's really nice. She even taught me how to braid my hair. Those servants are only nice to you because you are the princess. They only pretend to be your friends so that they can have power over you. But Eleanor would never... What reason do I have to lie to you? When have I ever lied to you, little one? I guess all this time? You have never lied to me. That is correct. Tomorrow I will remedy the situation. I will hire a new maid. You are not to prevent this one, no matter what she says. But Mother, are you arguing with me, Slutzette? No, I'm sorry, Mother. Oh, turns out Mother was an evil witch. Evil witch. It's been days since Parfait and Dolora revealed my mother's true identity and the inevitable responsibility I am to have on my shoulders once I turn 18. I've been trying to ask the king about Mother, but he's even busier these days than he was before. It's impossible to find a single moment in the day to speak with him. It's also kind of hard, because we're a maid. The fact that I'm a maid makes it even harder to garner his attention. When I am not on break, I continue to do my duty serving Emmeline. Right now, I'm accompanying her as she practices her walk and posture. Say Emmeline, right? Ophelia has been helping her, pointing out any mistakes she finds. I know how hard this is, dear. I had to go through this training as well before I married the king. Emmeline allows her shoulders to slouch as she lets out an exasperated sigh. I've always hated these lessons. I thought my posture was fine. This is supposed to refine it, and yet all these lessons I've been doing is hurting my back. Oh, Emmeline, you'll get a hang of this. You just need to keep practicing. But Mother, I've had the same lesson before. Why must I do it again? Because you slouch when you walk, and that is unbecoming of a princess. Emmeline scowls at her mother, and Ophelia's frown falls away as she bursts into laughter. Mother, you're not helping. The atmosphere in the room is far from heavy, as Emmeline and her mother continue to conduct their lessons. A very different relationship than we had with our mother. It's almost the exact opposite of the lessons I had with Mother. Mother always got angry when I made even the smallest mistakes. I know this is hard, but as a crown princess, all eyes will be on you during the ball. The people there will judge any small mistake you make, which is why you need to be on top form of that night. I know. Ophelia claps her hands. Alright, now to start again. Emmeline groans before heading to the far wall and straightening her back. She takes a deep breath, puts a book on her head and begins to walk again. The book falls from her head on the third step. She sighs and moves back and starts the process again. Neither of us break Emmeline's concentration by speaking. We stand idly by and watch as she tries time and time again. I'm surprised when Ophelia leans towards me and begins to whisper. Lucette, I've been meaning to say this before, but I'm grateful that you're friends with my daughter. Making friends with peasants. I look at Ophelia's smiling face with surprise. I never agreed to be her friend. You are not against the princess making friends with her servants. Why would I be? Why would I be? I know I'm saying that way. Why would I be? Why would I be? I actually wish if more of my staff here wouldn't be so uptight, since I would love for Emmeline to be on good terms with the people who serve her. Besides, social status is never an obstacle to a friendship. It's kind of also a subtle, power dynamic. So, it's never really equal. Even though it's always the case in any kind of media, not in anime, but it's like the nobility making friends with the peasant. It's kind of forbidden, but also it could still be taken advantage of. Because if either of them argue or something, or they get in bad terms, which is often inevitable if you are going to be in a relationship, even if it's a working relationship for a long time. Then it's the person of the lowest social status that is going to be disadvantaged. They might even get fired or something. It's their job on the line. They're living on the line, so they're kind of forced and pressured to be a friend, even though that is going to be fake, right? So in a way, Lucette's mother is sort of right. Even though she's kind of evil, she's sort of right. There is a power dynamic here, so it's not exactly equal. Anyway. Ophelia shifts her gaze back to Emmeline, who is now picking up the book that has once again fallen from her head. Because no matter what, obviously this relationship is kind of weird because Lucette technically is a true princess, and we're pretending to be a maid with magic. But if she wasn't a real maid, it's still kind of complicated. It can't really be a true friend if there is a social status, right? There's a gap that really can't be bridged normally. No matter your occupation or status, a friend is always a friend. You've given Emmeline the courage she needs to face the many challenges she has ahead of her. In a way, you're like family, since you're always around us. Like family. Come what may, both family and friends are there for you and will accept you for who you are. Well, even before I was cursed, Emmeline was always trying to be my friend. She knew all along who my mother was and still wanted to be my friend. Well, if you put it in that light. The thought makes me remember what Parfait told me about my mother threatening to kill Ophelia if the king did not marry her. I turned to Ophelia, curious. Your Majesty, may I ask what you know about the late Queen's rule? Ophelia looks at me quizzically, so I quickly add a thoughtless lie. I was not an angel, and I've only heard stories. I just thought it was so hard to believe with how peaceful things are in the palace right now. Well, the kingdom was a dark place back then. People lived in fear under her rule. The king had no real power over Angel. The witches had free reign over the kingdom. They cast the fairytale curse incessantly and on a whim. We barely left our houses in fear of becoming cursed. Mother's reign was that terrible. The king still blames himself for the darkness that befell Angel during that time. This is why he works day in and out to stabilize the country and to put smiles on everyone's faces. I remember long ago how he told me one of the reasons he would always continue to work hard for this kingdom was because he wanted to make a brighter tomorrow for his child. Or children. Ophelia looks confused for a few moments and brushes off the awkwardness with a small chuckle. He helps the family his own way. Is it possible that he said that with me in mind, and Ophelia slip up? But then, maybe he was always referring to Emmeline and Rod. Yeah, she said child and children? That's weird. The kingdom's come a long way since then, hasn't it? There's still witches here and there, but most of them don't bother others. I pray that the peace we experience right now will last. You see. Thank you for telling me. It's a bit of a dreary topic, but I'm happy to have helped. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to call on me. I know it may not be traditional protocol for a queen, but But then I do not consider myself a typical queen. I try my best to listen to everyone here, regardless of what their title and name might be. I can only nod her in response. Princess or maid, the way Ophelia has treated me has never changed. She has always treated me with kindness, regardless of who I am. I never saw it before because I was so distant from everyone. Now I see that Ophelia treats everyone here with kindness, regardless of social status. Bit of a bit of naivety there, but well, I guess it's still like a good thing. I was always frustrated by the servants when they compared Ophelia to Mother, saying she was superior. But now, I think I understand why they would make such comparisons. Emmeline dismisses me after my lessons. I begin to head immediately to my room. I have just turned the corner when I notice Sir Alcaster standing before me, scowling. No, not this guy again. Him and his, big nose. At least compared to everyone else. All the animes, everyone has, a very small nose, and if someone has, a big nose, it's kind of it's very, I guess, distracting? I don't know. Watch where you're going, child. I quickly avert my gaze, not wanting a confrontation. He always looks at me so strangely, almost like he can see into my mind, or is trying to. Yeah, I wonder if he knows. Does he know? If he knows, he's pretending not to know. But it seems he knows, considering how he treats us. In which case, he either might be the witch, but yeah, he's too obvious. If he was the witch, he'll be too obvious. So I'm thinking maybe he has a fairytale curse instead, maybe, and that's why he's always badgering us. Or maybe he's just an asshole, I don't know. My apologies, Sir Alcaster. Sir Alcaster nods his head at me stiffly before walking away. You are pardoned, Princess. Oh wait, no, he does know. He just called us Princess. I turn to stare after him, but he's already turned the corner. My blood becomes cold. Okay, he does know. He's just brazenly just putting it out there, I guess. That wasn't... was that just a slip of the tongue? I feel like he wouldn't do that. If it was a slip of the tongue, he would just I imagine anyone, who mistakenly says something they're not supposed to, they would backpedal, right? They say, "Oh no, wait, excuse me, I didn't mean to say that," right? But he didn't say that. He just said it and then left. But how else could he have known that I'm the princess? Is it possible that he's cursed? No, somehow that does not seem right. But if he does not have the fairytale curse, could he be the witch that the Lord warned me about? What reason would he have for unveiling his identity then? Unless he just wants to intimidate me further. It occurs to me that Fritz still remembers who I am. Did he tell his father about me? Now I am more confused about whom I should trust. Yeah, I guess maybe someone could also have told him as well, I don't know. Lucette. I jump when I hear Rod call me. His expression slowly creases with something that looks like worry. You're pale. Did something happen? Would he believe me if I told him? I have a feeling I'm supposed to tell him. You know what? Let's try to actively... I don't know, just choosing choices here and there. Maybe it's better not involve him, let's do that. I don't know, give him a reason. Maybe, it's better not to, tell him because then he's going to get involved, and then he might get killed. Maybe we should just take care of this on our own. Sounds like something Lucette would do, so let's do that, maybe. Nothing. I doubt he would make any effort to trust what I have to say. He's always skeptical of me. Rob furrows his brows at me. You expect me to believe that? I'm not even sure that I'm right. I would not want to accuse anyone without any proof. If you want this partnership to work, you should learn to trust me. Do you even trust me? I don't need to like someone in order to trust them. So, are you gonna tell me or not? Well, okay, it doesn't matter. We tell him anyway. All I can say for now is that we need to be careful around Sir Alcaster. He knows who I am. Rod stares at me for a few moments before finally nodding. Whatever you say. Anyway, I must leave now. I have a dance to practice for. Dance? But you already know how to dance. What do you have left to practice? Rod does not answer, only looks away. I decide to follow after him. Why did you follow me? I shrug. Well, I want to see you practice. To be honest, I want to see him dance. I already know that Emmeline is very clumsy when it comes to dancing, but outside of the one practice with Emmeline, I have never seen Rod dance. Emmeline always gloats on his behalf, but I have yet to witness Rod's supposed talent with my own eyes. Our dance together was so short I barely had any time to judge him. I do not practice with an audience. Why? It is my preference. Rod is easily embarrassed. Rod groans and pinches one of Sebi's cheeks, glowering. Sorry. Rod reluctantly releases the bunny with a sigh. I notice you've been talking more lately, Sebi. Oh, that's because Rod here has been saying things that contradict what he thinks or feels. Sebi makes a sound of defeat as Rod once again punches one of his cheeks. Rod stares at me with wide eyes, and I stare back, beginning to panic. What is wrong? You smiled again. I put a hand to my mouth, flushing. I was smiling again. Never even noticed. It was a pretty smile, princess. Right, Rod? Rod quickly turns away, cheeks slightly pink. I need to practice now, so I would appreciate you leaving. He did not even command me to leave. What a surprise. Well, Emmeline said you were a really good dancer. I want to see it with my own eyes. Why? So you can judge me? I mean, I can give the sincere answer, or I can be cheeky. Oh, I want to make sure I'm the better dancer than you. A scowl on Rod's face deepens. I almost smirk. Oh, maybe he's reluctant to show me, but Rod is also full of pride. He's more likely to show me if I pose a challenge. You didn't even answer the question. And are you underestimating my dancing? The others may have forgotten, but you still remember, do you not? I am a princess, and was taught by the kingdom's best instructor. I say the words with pride, and I notice Rod's lips twitch in response. It actually makes me feel accomplished to get under Rod's skin when he's usually the one getting under mine. You're teasing him now. Having the best instructor does not automatically make you the best dancer. I am pretty confident with my own skills. Say what you want, but I will refuse to believe you without any proof. I still say that I'm a better dancer than you are. Okay, we do get bombed. I was wondering, maybe by picking those other choices, actually we get more points doing that. Picking the, how do you say it? Like the teasing option, right? This is always the case, tsundere, always teasing the other person or whatever. Getting a reaction out of them, apparently that makes them closer. Rod steps forward and pulls me suddenly into his arms, taking me by surprise. He looks at me, clearly determined. Fine then, you'll have your proof. I'll make you swallow those words with this dance. We shall see. Competitive, like a competitive, rivalry, but also totally shipped together. Rod starts leading the dance. He glides us into an imaginary rhythm of a waltz. Even without the music, I am able to count the steps in my head as I follow his lead. The waltz, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is different from that short dance he showed Emmeline. I'll just move in like a box, right? That's the waltz, Rod's movements are graceful, his touch gentle as he leads me to an underarm twirl. When I come to face him again, I notice the gentle way he stares at me. The usual hardness of his expression is gone and melted in something relaxed. I find myself staring back at him, looking to his eyes. Perhaps Rod does have some gentleness into him. Our gaze does not break as he twirls me. Time to make out. You have beautiful eyes. Okay. Rod's eyes widen as soon as mine do. He abruptly lets go of my hands and steps back. I can only stare at him, my face warm. It wasn't me this time. That was more than just a thought, I swear. Rod says nothing, though his cheeks continue to darken with embarrassment. Oh my. Rod and I turn to look at Emmeline, who is hovering by the door. Don't let me disturb your, romantic dance. Excuse me. Rod quickly walks through the doorway and out into the hallway, leaving Emmeline and I alone in the room. What just happened? Oh, look at her, she's blushing too. Amazing. That was a wonderful dance, Lucette. You were watching. I only just saw the last few minutes, but you know, the two of you really did look like a couple. It was sweet. A couple? Oh, you're blushing. Put a hand to my cheek and turn away with a scowl. I'm not. Besides, whatever just happened was embarrassing. Do you like Rod? I stare at her. I do not. Also, you're forgetting that I'm a maid who could not be with the prince even if I wanted to. He's grumpy and cold. Even though we are not blood-related, he's still my stepbrother. If only Emmeline realized how crazy her words were in light of the truth. Emmeline suddenly looks starry-eyed as she giggles at me. Oh, love knows boundaries, dear Lucette. Besides, he seems to like you. Your brother hates me. Rod. Can be a contradiction sometimes. Objection! Sometimes he says the opposite of what he feels. It's only when you get to know him as well as I do that you realize what his truths are. I cannot help but think of Seppi, who always speaks Rod's thoughts aloud when they're contradictory. He was also so mean to Rika when we were young. He would always bully her for being a crybaby, even though he cried far more often. But then I realized that he treated her more special than he did anyone else. Back then, I knew that he liked her. Emmeline always knew, I guess. Oh, okay. She wasn't as much of an airhead than I thought she was. He knew. I thought that one day the two of them might even grow to love each other, but Emma lets out a long sigh as she directs her attention out of the window. His attitude toward her has changed ever since he was cursed, and they grew even more distant when Viorica found a lover. Is that the reason that you've been going to the toy shop with Prince Rod? Because you want to bring them back together? Emmeline nods. The three of us were best friends, the three musketeers. It's not the same without Rod. I keep on asking him what's wrong, but he refuses to tell me. He has always been stubborn, but it's not like him to keep secrets. It's really frustrating because I have no idea what I should do to help him. I thought he was just being stubborn with me, but apparently no amount of prodding, even from his own family, will make him budge. Why is he being so difficult? I hope you don't mind me asking, but what do you know about his curse? Emmeline stares at me for a few moments before nodding. Oh, you're my friend, Lucette, and I know that I can confide in you. Well, I know that sometimes I'm not trusting enough, but I think Emmeline's still far too trusting. We only know that he has the mermaid's curse. I've read the story so many times, hoping that I can figure out some way to break his curse. I think back and realize that I'd actually read the beginning of The Little Mermaid a long time ago, but I did not have the chance to finish it because I was caught by Mother. Well, The Little Mermaid was about a mermaid who trades her voice for legs, right? Under the sea, you know, da 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 da, da 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 da. No, anyway. Yes, she does it so she can be with her prince. Rod's voice was taken away, but I'm sure that he was given something in exchange. I've heard the curses were derived from the original tales, but that they are twisted in some way to fit the format of the curse. I nod slowly, thoughtful. I have a strong feeling that Rod's curse is related to Viorica, but I cannot draw the connection. Still, Viorica might be the key to understanding his curse. If Rod will not divulge anything, the next best chance we have of understanding his curse might be going through Viorica. I guess time to go to the toy shop? Careful what you wish for. Today is the first time that I'm leaving the palace on the day off. Usually I choose to stay inside. Whereas the other servants always leave to go home, I never see any reason to leave since this has always been my home. And the Martian has never been home. Besides, it's not as if I want to return, not after that conversation we all shared last time. Thus, I spent most of my days asking questions about Mother's reign, inquiring when and where I can. The opinions do not surprise me. I was scared of her. One wrong move and she'd have you thrown in prison. The townsfolk will always wait for you to pass by before leaving their houses. She was a tyrant. The kingdom is a better place now she's gone. Everyone does not like her mother. Or, what's her name? I already forgot. Hidden or something? Hidden? No. There's a reason for them, there's no reason for them to lie to me. The more I hear, the more my old life makes some sense to me. I now know why the king never seemed to love Mother. And why do people hated her? And the reason people looked at me with such fear. And yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of unfair. It's kind of unfair that everyone assumed that we're evil too, but I guess, you know, also, like, we're a witch. We're an evil witch, that adds on more discrimination. And also, we didn't really do much to help with our reputation, right? We were, like, ice and cold and everything, and like Lucette even like fired a maid very similar to her mother, so like didn't do much to help with the reputation. So I guess the rumors just, you know, went on without any resistance. No one was on Lucette's side, really, at least openly, except Fritz, I guess. I remember Fritz Fitzgerald, Sir Fitzgerald, always our knight. He's very loyal, so yeah. However, it's been months since I have been glared at in public. If there's a good thing that this curse did for me is that it allows me to travel around town without being noticed. As Viorica's shop comes into view, my thought shifts to the reason I have left the palace in the first place. If Rod would not tell me anything, I'll have to ask Viorica. She must be related in some way to his curse. I paused outside the door to the toy shop. With a deep breath, I pushed the door open. Welcome. The moment she sees me, her expression becomes confused. Oh, you are the princess's maid, Lucette, wasn't it? I nodded her. Oh, you never come in here alone before? What can I help you with? Well, I wanted to ask you something. It's about Prince Rod. Prince Rod? Did something happen to him? Is he okay? Oh, he is fine. She sighs with relief. Then what is it you want to ask? I just wanted to know if you knew anything about Prince Rod's sudden muteness. Viorica stares at me for a few moments before she shakes her head. I only know that it happened soon after I met my fiancé, Desamon. What reason do you have for asking? Well, I try to think of a plausible explanation for this. I immediately consider Emmeline. Viorica is Emmeline's best friend. Surely she would be willing to help if she knew I was doing this for Emmeline. Well, Prince Rod has been very quiet recently. Princess Emmeline has been worried sick about him, but he refuses to say anything, even to her. I've been trying to gather information that might be helpful in discerning the cause. I stare at her expectantly, hoping that my gaze holds nothing but determination. Finally, Viorica smiles. Oh, she's lucky to have a dedicated friend like you. I'm still not accustomed to the fact that Emmeline considers me a friend. Before she became princess, I was her first confidant. Confident? Yeah, confident? Or how you say it? Confident, right? Confident? Confiding on our secrets? Confident. We were like sisters. But now that she's living in the castle, we no longer have the luxury of spending so much time together. I worry about her constantly. Even around me, Em always tended to keep her problems to herself at first. She doesn't bother other people with them. It's hard not to agree. With the way Emmeline was always smiling before, I never thought she had problems in her life. It was only recently that I discovered that she was hiding all her loneliness and pain behind a smile. It's a relief that she befriended someone who cares so much about her. I don't know if I can be much help, but I'll tell you what I know if it will help Emmeline. To start with, I'm not exactly sure how everything changed, but it all happened so suddenly. All I know is that after the night I met Desamon, our relationship changed. I mean, I can guess why, you know? But anyway, at first she still smiled, but recently he's been avoiding me. Well, what happened between the two of you the night you met your fiancé? Nothing. For a night did not meet on that day. Miss Rod wasn't there. No, but soon after what happened that night, Rod grew distant. What happened? It was a stormy night and I was heading back home. I took the route by the riverbank because it was the shortest route. It was foolish of me. The rock was slippery and full of mud. I lost my footing and fell into the water. The waves were strong and I was certain I was going to drown. I don't remember what happened in the darkness of that water. Only when I woke up, my head was in Desamon's lap. That was the first time we met, but not the last. He carried me home, and he came by every day as I was recovering. and then he came to visit even after I recovered. I tried not to get my hopes too much, but what could this nobleman see in me, a mere commoner? But I still ended up falling in love with him. You have no idea how happy I was when he said he loved me too. It was a dream come true. Of course, every girl dreams of marrying a prince. It was all in the fairy tales that I read as a child. Oh no, that is all related to Rod. How does it relate to his curse? Actually, now that I remember, I think I remember something about how in The Little Mermaid, in the original story anyway, by Hans, I can't remember, but I think it has something to do with the fact that the Little Mermaid, she traded her voice for legs, right? As she met the prince, and originally she fell in love with the prince because she saved him from drowning, right? Something like that. And she gave it like a bracelet or whatever, or not bracelet, but like some kind of jewelry, maybe a necklace or some sort, something. And then the prince was like, you know, enamored by the mermaid, and was trying to find like who saved him or whatever, right? Or think, something like that. However, as soon as the Little Mermaid got her legs and went back to land to prove that she was the one who saved them, I think the prince fell in love with someone else, or something like that. And that's why the Little Mermaid was devastated or something like that. I think something like that. So when you like compare it with Viorica's story and Rod's curse, maybe something similar happened. You know? Well, anyway, I don't know if it's true, but I think it might be. That's my hypothesis anyway, that, you know, she fell in love with someone else. Even though his curse, by trading his voice, saved her life? Something like that? I don't know. And in order to break his curse, he needs to... well, we'll see, I guess. You said your relationship with Prince Rod changed after the night. What happened? Viorica sighs. I told Em and Rod about Desimon soon after the incident. Em was happy that the two of us had fallen in love, but Rod didn't say much of anything. That's when I noticed he started growing distant, and when I realized that he also lost his voice. He still won't tell me anything, but I figured that he was... The voice fades, but I know that she is referring to the curse. So Rod lost his voice shortly after Viorica met Desimon. The mermaid's curse must have something to do with the tale. The Little Mermaid traded her voice for legs so it could be with her prince. But that night, the only person who found their Prince Charming was Viorica. Rod's curse must have something to do with Desimon and Viorica. He became distant with her after finding out about Desimon. Why? And there's the fact that he still spoke to Viorica, even if he was distant. It was only when he found out about their wedding that he became so cold. I frowned as I tried to organize my thoughts. How did it get to be this late? I'm so sorry, Lucette. I have to close the shop now. Sorry for the story. I know it was nothing to do with Rod, but it was after that incident I began to act strangely. You know, I think it has everything to do with Rod. But anyway, I don't think I was much help, but I shake my head. Well, you've told me what you could. Viorica walks me to the door, opening it so that the both of us can step out onto the street together. I really hope that you're able to help Emmeline and Rod. I hope so too. Did you see Ophelia the other day? I cast sight of two noblewomen sitting on a bench together not too far away from the toy shop. They are referring to Ophelia with her title. How disrespectful. Who could have thought a peasant like her could almost look like royalty? Her dress. As the queen she ought to be, wearing silks rather than satin. I do not know why, but I bristle at their comments. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but the fact that they are speaking so bluntly in public means they have little worry of being overheard. I'm still not sure what the king saw in her. Well, you know what they say about ladies lacking natural beauty? Her talents must lie in other, more persuasive areas. Oh, she must be very persuasive indeed, if the king decided without to marry her. As the little woman laughed, I feel something hot begin to burn in my stomach. Viorica takes a sharp breath beside me. Since I became a maid in the palace, Ophelia has been nothing but kind to me, a mere servant. She has all the right to flaunt her status and title, and yet she remains humble. I now know that this is why everyone at the palace loves her. Common women like her can only keep a woman's attention for so long. I stopped walking toward him without thinking. Lucette, I wouldn't. You have no right to say those things about the Queen. The two women are clearly surprised at my interruption. Both of them glare at me. And you have no right to eavesdrop on us. Eavesdropping? Anyone could have heard you. Their mouths fall open. One of the women looks at me for a long time, then sneers suddenly as if something has occurred to her. I thought you looked familiar. You're the Crown Princess's personal maid. I see you always following her around when she's in town. This is none of your business, girl. Why do you care so much for her opinions? Or perhaps because of the girl's allies of the Queen think she might also go from rags to riches? What? Oh, you do have a point. They stand and advance toward me. Do you want the prince for yourself, girl? If a commoner can become the queen, it's not too difficult to imagine yourself as a princess, is it? I'm already a princess, you asshole. How foolish. You better have dreaming smaller dreams, girl. They laugh, and the irritation in my chest blazes into full-on anger. Is this what Ophelia has been dealing with for the past year? She's being treated so cruelly when she has done nothing but love the king. And I also ridiculed her just like this. I forced myself to look at the cruel women as I moved my hand to the pendant hanging around my neck. I was just as cruel as them. I barely feel Viorica's hand as she rests against my shoulder. Lucette, let it go. Her Majesty wouldn't want you to do this. But I cannot just let these women talk about a feeling like this. I pull away from Viorica and stand firm. The Queen has a good heart. She's more noble than either of you could ever hope to be. I think back on the times I was cruel to her. Ophelia could have easily reprimanded me for my behavior. She had the right as my stepmother, yet she has been nothing but kind to me. Ophelia never got angry at me, even despite my treatment toward her and the family. She has always treated others with kindness, even when they're cruel to her. Judging from the bitterness in your accusations, it seems like you're jealous of her. How pathetic. The other woman marches towards me, and my free hand instinctively moves to hold her hand just before her palm reaches my cheek. I will not tolerate any insults toward the Queen. And did she slap us? I don't know, she was gonna slap us, right? I guess we stopped her though, we did some judo. A soft light emanates from the pendant and I can only stare at it in shock. Another good deed. Was that a good deed? You know, I guess. Like being sassy. By defending Ophelia. The woman snatches her hand away. How dare a peasant like you talk that way to us? Have you no manners? I could ask you the same. What happened to yours? How dare you? Wait, don't you know who you are, we are, girl? I will see you pay for your impudence. Impertinence. Our words have far more weight than yours ever will. I would go to the king myself and to tell him about how rude you were. Really reminds me, I'm gonna talk to your manager. Even though we did exactly what the manager would do. Or I guess the king anyway. I can pass on that message myself. I turn and see Ra walking towards us, his expression cold. The two noble women hastily curtsy. Your Highness. Noblewomen turn pale as Rod's eyes fall on them. Actually, we have an important dinner engagement. Yes, we do. Bye-bye. The two noblewomen curtsy before quickly departing. What are you doing here without your guards? What trouble have you gotten yourself into now? Don't worry about it. It's nothing. If you refuse to tell me what happened, I would have to assume the noblewomen were telling the truth about you. Lucette has done nothing wrong. In fact, I think old Lucette only did what you and Emmeline would have done had you heard the awful things the women were saying about your mother. What? She stood up for the Queen when she didn't have to. Why didn't you just say so? Would you have believed me? Rod drops his gaze from mine. You never gave me a chance to believe you, did you? He would have believed me. How am I to know that? Rod is like a walking contradiction. Rod glances up again, this time to look at Viorica. Well, we shouldn't keep you from returning home, Viorica. I'll take Lucette back to the palace. Viorica's eyes narrow, and she looks ready to say something, but Rod has already reached out for my hand to pull me along behind him. When we are out of sight of Viorica's shop, Rod stops, releasing my hand as he turns to face me. Did you really think I would refuse to believe you if you told me the truth? Well, you never liked me. You have no reason to believe me. Rod sighs, running a hand through his hair. I told you that I would help you break your curse, right? That offer alone should be enough for you to know that I... Rod turns away, suddenly looking embarrassed. But I don't dislike you anymore. Wait, I was wondering, yeah, maybe by choosing not to tell him, that was the right choice. I keep getting the right choices, oh no. Well, I mean, that's not bad, but, I do want to see all the endings, so I kind of want to get to see the bad choices first, but... it doesn't matter, we'll see. That I don't dislike you anymore. I don't hate you, Baka. You are expecting me to just assume that. How would I know unless you made that absolutely clear? Well, I'm making it clear now. I understand. Anyway, thank you for standing up for my mother. It seems like you don't require my assistance in breaking your curse after all. He gestures to my necklace. Congratulations on your second good deed, Lisette. Suddenly, tongue-tied, I find myself looking everywhere but at Rod. When I have once again gathered my senses, I turn to the road. My eyes narrow as I recognize the path we are on. Well, this is not the way back to the palace. Yes, we're on our way to the Love Hotel. Wink, wink, no, no, it isn't. We are going to the Martian. Why? Because I was on my way there before I was forced to take a detour because someone was drawing attention to herself. What? But Rod ignores me, and we walk the rest of the way to the Martian in silence. Waltz is the only person in the reception room where we enter. Prince Rod? Princess? It's a little late for the two of you to be here. I meant to be here earlier. Is Lady Parfait here? Waltz nods. I'll go and get her. I'll wait here. As soon as Waltz leaves us alone, Rod turns to me, his expression rigid. Rod steps closer and grabs my shoulder. What are you doing? Hey, don't touch me. I wasn't able to say so early because we were out in public, but you should know just how much danger you are in now, and you thought it was okay to go around your own? It was my day off today. It's not a reason for me to want time for myself. Time to yourself? Don't you understand the meaning of be careful? Why would you do something as foolish as going out in town alone? I cannot help but bristle at his tone. Why are you so angry? Because you're... Rod trails off and looks away. Because you're family. So you're finally acknowledging me as family. I notice his cheeks turning red. To be honest, you're less of a family member, more just... important. Important? Because of all that you do for Emmeline. You're important to my sister, and totally not important to me, by the way. He looks uncomfortable as he says the words, and I cannot help but marvel at his embarrassment. Why is he so embarrassed? Laurent changes the topic as he turns away from me. Why were you with Viorica? I can only think of one reason you speak to her. My curse. You thought you'd find out about my curse through her. A shrug. I can only assume that your curse has something to do with Viorica. I look up when Rod says something, then stare at the curious sight before me. He has taken Sebi off his shoulder and is holding the doll in his hands, away from his face. The two of them seem to be engaged in some silent conversation. Then gently, Sebi speaks words I can hear. Well, this is the right thing to do. You need to let her help you, Rod. Rod bites down his lower lip before briefly closing his eyes. Eventually, he returns Sebi to his usual spot on his shoulder and turns to me. Fine. You're stubborn and you're not gonna quit investigating unless I tell you, are you? You're right. Vairika is the reason I was cursed. Rod sits down on the settee and lets out a heavy sigh. I never know what settee means. What do you mean by settee? You mean like the chairs or the I assume like the general area, right? The couch and the chairs. I don't know what settee means. Or settee or city or I've never seen that word. In fact, when you see a new word, you should like Google it. So I'm gonna Google it right now. Definition. Settee, definition, or
Settee.
Settee. It's British, I guess.
Settee.
Settee. A long upholstered seat for more than one person, typically with a back and arms. Okay, it's a sofa, I guess. Settee. A settee. I guess it's this thing. Anyway. Rod sits down on the settee and lets out a heavy sigh. His eyes are far away as he speaks to me. I was in love with Vairika, but I wasn't brave enough to tell her. I just followed her around like some kind of puppy. I kind of sympathize with Rod. One day Vairika hadn't come home and it was raining very heavily, so I went out to look for her. I found her walking along the bank of the river. I called out to her to tell her to be careful, but I don't think she ever heard me. She slipped and... Rod swallows and clenches one of his hands into a fist. She fell into a river. I dived in after her. I somehow managed to get both of us onto the riverbank, but it didn't look like Vairika was breathing. I didn't know what to do. I started panicking. I ran off to try and find help, but I couldn't find anyone in the storm. When I returned, she was gone. I rushed to her house, and the doctor was already there, tending to her along with Desamon. Rod's gaze is vacant as he nods. When Vairika began to fall in love with Desamon, I felt helpless. Well, did you not tell her that you were the one that saved her? Why would I? Vairika was so happy, believing that she and Desamon were fated to be together. Couldn't do that to her. Actually, what happened? I guess he saved her, right? Okay, yeah, same her. Ran out to try to find help, but then Desamon came. Yeah, okay, I mean... NTR, basically. But surely, if you told her, unrequited love, and that turned to, you found her true happiness, would you want to ruin that happiness? Even if you think you deserve it. But at the same time, if you think you deserve someone else's love, then you're just being selfish, right? But it's kind of like, you're pressuring someone to love you because you love them, and it's kind of like, that's also, like remember, power dynamics? About how, like, servants and nobles, being friends. If there's like, if there's that dynamic where you're forcing another person, or at least pressuring them to be in that relationship, then it's always going to feel fake, right? I guess that's what Rod feels as well. Rod interrupts me. I want the people I love to be happy. I don't care if the happiness causes me pain. I'd rather bear that alone instead of bringing down those around me. My chest aches as I watch Rod's face. I never would have guessed that Rod would be so selfless. Such a tragic, tragic character. We will totally get with him so that... I don't know what... I forget what the word is. I forget. I mentioned this before, you know how, like, again, when someone breaks up with someone and we swoop in, to date them instead. But I forget what the word is. I forget this. It's kind of like that, to be honest. But that didn't stop me from thinking that I could still make her love me instead. I decided to become what I thought Vairika wanted most. The Prince Charming of the fairy tales she so adored. And so I asked the witch to turn me into one. She stole my voice in exchange. Only then did I realize that she had inflicted the fairy tale curse upon me. The mermaid's curse. The next day, the king turned up at our house, proclaiming that he had been looking for my mother for years, but he never stopped loving her. Oh, okay, so maybe that's what happened? He actually did it. He actually made it so that his family became royalty overnight. Like, it wasn't just by chance, it was actually, partly by his hands. When the king married my mother, I became prince. It was just as the witch promised. But it didn't matter. I didn't see it when I made a deal with the witch, but I couldn't be blind to it forever. Desamon and Vairika really do love each other. They make each other happy. Nothing I can do will ever change that. Rod, it's tragic, love triangle, unrequited love. I've always have a soft spot for those type of characters. Actually, yeah, he's the childhood friend, right? Childhood friend. The childhood friend never wins. I always have sympathy for those characters. Prince Rod. Oh. Parfait pauses in her tracks when she sees me. Have I interrupted something? No. I was totally not giving my whole backstory. Rod moves over to Parfait, but he stops to glance back at me. It won't be long. So actually, Rod would probably told Parfait this as well, That's why, Parfait gave him his, little Sebastian thing, to alleviate his his curse or whatever. Parfait looks at Rod and then at me. Her face puzzled, but she does not say a word as Rod and her leave the room.